Hi, I'm Chris, and I'll be walking you through exercise 3, which is all about symbolizing and labeling your data. To begin, open up the exercise 3 workspace provided. In your training data folder, locate the folder 00 workspaces. Open exercise 3 Gaia, and save to your working folders under 02 Training Outputs within 00 Workspaces as exercise 3.QGIS. Symbology is how the data looks in the map canvas and is a critical component of good mapmaking, and often the most time-consuming to get it right. To change Symbology, double-click the mainland layer in the table of contents to bring up the layer's properties. Click Style. There are various ways to change colors. Click on the second Symbology level. This is the simple fill by default, but can be a number of others depending on the last used. Under Symbol Layer Type, click the Fill Color button. Click on the Color Ramp tab. Select a light cream color from the color selector, then click OK. This will give your mainland's data a fill color of light cream. We can also change the border color and type as well. Click on the Outline Color button. Click on the Color Wheel tab. Let's select a light brown from the color wheel and click OK. Under the Symbol Layer Type, change the outline style to dash line, then click OK. Your mainland's data should now be a light cream with a light brown dashed border. We will now change the symbology of the other layers to a more suitable style. Let's start with the Towns layer. Change the simple mark fill color to orange. Then, change the outline color to white. Change the marker size to 4 mm and the marker outline width to 1 mm. Click OK. Next we move on to the Lakes layer. Change the simple fill color to light blue. Change the fill style to Dense 1. Now change the border style to No Pen and press OK. Next we move on to our Rivers layer. Let's look at the simple line color and change that to a medium blue. Note, a great way of choosing colors for symbology theming is also available by using the color picker. Next we move on to native vegetation. For this layer, change the fill to a saved style called Wine. Then change the layer transparency to 30% and press OK. Note, if you don't have any saved styles, you can import them into your workspace by going to Settings, Style Manager, Share, and then Import. In File Explorer, browse and select the file called styles.xml in 01 Training Data 05 Other. Click Select All, then Import. Close the window to return back to your workspace. We'll move on to the layer Nature Reserves now. Let's load a saved style for your layer. Double-click on the Nature Reserves layer. In the Layer Properties window, click Style. In the bottom left of the window, click Style and then Load Style. Next, browse to the file naturereservesstyle.qml in the folder 01 Training Data, then 05 Other. Click Open. The layer should now be restyled to light gray with diagonal stripes. Click OK. Note, there are various options to save your preferred styles to use between or within your QGIS workspaces. From the Layer Properties Style tab, click Style, then Save Style, then QGIS Layer Style File, and save a QML file for your working folder for distribution with your shapefile. Alternatively, you can save files to the Symbology library. To do this, click Save below your layer style options and give it a name. You can also copy Symbology to layers of the same geometry, for instance, from polygon to polygon. Right-click the mainland layer in the table of contents. Click Styles, then Copy Style. Right-click on the Islands layer. Click Styles, then Paste Style. The island should now have the same symbology as the mainlands layer. If you try and save styles over different geometries, you should receive an error message. There is also a useful shortcut to changing the color of a layer in the Style dropdown. Note, colors from your Select Color window can also be saved for future use, which is ideal if you are using the same color for different layers. For instance, different water body types. When you have selected your color in the Style properties, click the arrow button to save it to the workspace. Time for some questions. For polygons, what fill style ensures no fill color is shown in the map canvas? Is there an option to save the style that you have created? Go back and review the options found in the Style window. What are the 4 options for selecting colors? Here's a hint. One is Color Ramp. We also have the ability to color our data based on field values in the attribute table. Let's open the Roads layer properties. Click Style. Select the Categorized option as the symbol type. Next, select Class as the column value. Change the color ramp to YLORBR. Click the Classify button. A list of all the different types of roads should now be visible. The Value field indicates the value within your data's attribute table, whilst the Legend field indicates the name that is used in the table of contents, or map legends. This will be important when you start making maps further on in the training. The classification automatically orders the values alphabetically. However, this may not be the order we need for our data to be in. Drag and drop the class values to the following order. On top we'll have Principal Road, then Second Road, then Minor Road, then Track, then blank. We also would like to change the track label to something more descriptive. Double-click on the legend value for track. Now rename the value to Unsealed Track. Note that changing the name of the label value only changes it within the workspace, not permanently in the data itself. We also would like to remove the blank value from our classification. Blank represents null values. Even if there are no null values in the field, the blank value will still appear for digitizing purposes. As we would like to show only classified roads, we'll remove it now. Click on the blank value so that it is highlighted. Click the Delete button. Now the blank value will be removed from your classification. Note that if you need to add missing values, you can click the Add button. Finally, we need to recolor the roads to give it more logical meaning to the size and width of the road. Double-click each road's symbol to change the symbology. First, double-click on Principal Road. Change the color to dark orange and the pen width to 0.5. Next, click on Secondary Road and change that color to dark orange. Double-click on Minor Road and change the color to medium orange. And finally, click on Unsealed Track. Change this color to light brown with a pen style of dashed line. Click OK. All the changes will now be shown in your table of contents. The roads layer is partially covered by native vegetation due to the layer ordering in the table of contents. Drag the roads layer so it sits above the native vegetation and nature reserves layer. Time for a question. Another symbol type option is the graduated tool. Review this tool in one of the layer properties. What do you think it could be used for? We also have the option of labeling our data with field values found in the data's attribute table. Let's double-click the roads layer. Next, click Labels. Select Show Labels for this layer at the top of the window. From the Label Width drop-down, choose Name, and click OK. Your roads layer should now have labels. However, they are quite sporadic and hard to read. We are able to fine-tune the symbology with the Properties window. So double-click the roads layer, then click Labels. Let's change the following. For text, let's change the font to Arial, the size to 6, the color to a similar orange as the town point, and the typecase to all uppercase. For the buffer, let's activate Draw Text Buffer and change the transparency to 20%. For placement, click Curved, Allowed Positions on line and deactivate Above line. Click OK and have a look at your results. Your roads should now be labeled. Some may be missing, while others are duplicated. This is due to the rendering and the automatic placement of labels. So, let's open your roads layer and click on Properties. Click Labels, then Rendering. Next, activate the Merge Connected Lines to avoid duplicate labels, and click OK. For the Towns layer, add a label to the Bremer Bay town point using the Name field and the following symbology. For text, let's change this to an Arial font. Let's change the size to 8 and choose a custom orange color. For the buffer property, let's activate Draw Text Buffer and make the transparency 20%. And under shadow, let's activate Draw Drop Shadow with a transparency of 50%. When complete, you will note that the label is covering the town point. To avoid this, an offset can be placed on the label for clarity. Let's open the Towns layer and Properties window. Under Labels, click Placement. Then select Offset from Point. Choose the bottom right quadrant. Under Offset XY, add 3 in the left box and 0 in the right box. Next, ensure the drop-down is set to millimeter, and click OK. This has moved the label 3 points across, enabling it to be separated clearly from the point. Now label the Nature Reserves layer with your own format preferences. Go on, have a play. The names, however, are probably too long for the map. Ideally, we would like each word to be shown on a different line. We can do this by wrapping the text around a character. So, open the Nature Reserves layer and its Properties window. Under Labels, click Formatting. Place a space in Wrap on Character. Next, change the alignment to center. This should cascade and center the text after each space. Investigate the labeling options further to answer the following question. Do the label placement options change for a point and a line? We also want to add additional text that is not found in our data. We can do this by using the Text Annotation tool. In the top toolbar, click the Text Annotation tool. Click on your map canvas. The default text box should appear. Note, these sort of text boxes are good to indicate locations quickly, but they are only saved within the workspace and cannot be exported into other workspaces, unlike shapefiles. As the point is only a label, it contains no attributes, no location data, and no geometry, but it does move around with the map extent. So next in our process, double-click on the text box to open the annotation text window. Change the following items. For font type, let's choose Arial. For font color, let's choose dark gray. Under Text, we'll select Project Campsite A. The map marker should be diamond and recolored to red. For the frame width, let's set that to 0.5 and the frame color to dark gray. By dragging and dropping the text box and the diamond point, resize and place the label in the following location. Click the Pan Map tool or other navigation tools that are available to deactivate the annotation tool. Well done! Although color is a great way for creating beautiful maps, it may not necessarily be used. Reports may be printed off in black and white, which may result in loss of distinction between features if they are created in similar saturations. This is also the case for colorblind people who have difficulty in distinguishing between reds and greens, which makes up about 10% of the male population. QGIS allows you to check your color schemes easily within the workspace for accessibility. In the menu bar, click View, Preview Mode. Next, click on each available simulation to see if your symbology needs amending. Then click back to normal. An easy way to create contrast in your symbology is to include patterns as well as color. Additionally, QGIS gives more options regarding creating gradients, selective line coloring, inverted feathering, and SVG fills for polygons. This can give your map a more illustrative feel without having to export it out to a specialist program. In your table of contents, right-click the Lakes layer. Next, click Properties, then Style. Click on Simple Fill, and under Symbol Layer Type, select Gradient Fill. Select your two colors for the gradient. And then press OK. As the coord mode is set to Object, each individual lake has its own gradient. To link all the gradients together, change coord mode to Viewport. Can you see the difference? Now let's look at selective line coloring. In your table of contents, double-click Native Vegetation, then Style. Click on Simple Fill. Next, change the symbol layer type to Outline, Simple Line. Change the color to olive green and the pen width to 5 mm. Check the box, draw a line only inside the polygon. Next, let's set the layer transparency to 60% and click OK. This will color the inside of the polygon only. Next, we're going to look at inverted feathering, which adds shadows to your data. In your table of contents, right-click on Mainland. Click Duplicate. A new layer should appear called Mainland Copy, and make sure it is checked. Double-click Mainland Copy, then Style. Next, change Single Symbol to Inverted Polygons. This turns the data into a mask. Click Simple Fill. Then, under Symbol Layer Type, click Shape Burst Fill. Under Gradient Colors, change the first color to gray. Then, under Shading Style, click Shade to a set distance of 5 mm. Make the blur strength 10, then click OK. How does it look? Next, we'll look at the SVG Fill capability. In your table of contents, double-click Nature Reserves, and then Style. Click on Simple Fill, which may be Gradient Fill or others depending on your last selection, and under Symbol Layer Type, change to SVG Fill. In the SVG symbols, find a tree SVG and click on it. Next, change the texture width to 2 mm. Change the color to medium green, and change the layer transparency to 0. Finally, click on Line Pattern Fill and click the minus button to remove it, and then press OK. How does this look? Masks are used to draw attention to focus areas of a map. For this example, our area of focus will be a provided layer called 2013 Project Boundary. Add the data 2013 Project Boundary.shape from your training data files in the folder 01 Training Data 01 Shapefiles Additional. Drag this layer up to the top of the table of contents. Zoom in closer to this layer so you can clearly see it in the map canvas. In the table of contents, double-click the layer 2013 Project Boundary. Next, click Style. Change the single symbol to inverted polygons. Then, click Simple Fill and change Symbol Layer Type to Shape Burst Fill. In the gradient colors, change the first color to orange. Check the box Shade to a set distance of 5 mm. Finally, let's change the layer transparency to 40% and click OK. The areas around your boundary should now be faded out. If you want to remove them completely, make sure your layer transparency is turned to 0. Note, there is a masking plugin that can also automate this process. It adds functionality around the masking of labels in your map canvas. If you're feeling adventurous and want to see some more great cartographic features, experiment with the point displacement and Heatmap symbology options. There is a point shapefile to assist with this, located in folder 01 Training Data 01 Shapefiles Additional, named randompoints.shape. Save and close your workspace. That's the end of exercise 3. Hopefully you're now familiar with the range of functionality around symbolizing and labeling your data. Head to exercise 4 to look at importing points and amending attributes. Thanks very much for watching.